Hey everyone, my name is Seth Mock and I'm the sales trainer here at E&S Security. And today we're going to be doing a full setup of our Akuvox A02S access controller and reader. We're going to be going over some basic wiring setups to a Maglock and a mechanical exit button. We'll configure the A02S into the web interface. Then we'll jump into the Akuvox cloud portal for some additional setup and adding users and setting up credentials through that portal. So we're going to be covering a lot in this video, so let's jump into the A02S first. Before we jump into the configuration and the wiring of the A02S, I first want to talk about some of the specs with this unit. This device allows for flexible credential options, including PIN code, NFC, RFID, and allowing you to choose a credential that best suits your needs. So you can have PIN code, you can have RFID, or you can have both. And you can also have NFC. You can choose between all three, use them all at the same time, or just one. This unit is PoE powered and Wiegand supported. This device does have one relay output and two inputs, so it can support one door of access control. This unit can be flush mounted or wall mounted, it's up to you. And this A02S has a user capacity of 20,000 and a card capacity of 20,000 and an event log of 100,000. So if you needed to have 20,000 users on here, it's not a problem. And the system logs of who entered and when they entered into the facility can be available to you as well. Ultimately, the A02S is a great all-in-one solution for an access controller and reader, and is a great device to get set up for a access control system. I want to jump into the products that we're going to be using in this video. We're going to be using the A02S like I said, but all these products are going to be used in conjunction to do a full wiring setup of this device. The first device that is not actually here at the table in front of me is our 8-channel PoE switch. We have a bunch of them in this room, so we're just going to plug directly into those. We're going to use a Cat5 cable, 18/2 gauge wire, 22/4 gauge wire. You can use 18/2 gauge, 22/2 gauge. It's kind of up to you. It's not a big deal. You can use anything. We're just using this because it's what we had available. We are using a 1,100-pound single door Maglock with a 12-volt power supply. And quick mention, the A02S actually does have a built-in output for 12-volt power up to 600 milliamps. You can use that. We're going to use a separate power supply just because most of you guys will end up doing that. And we are going to be using a mechanical exit button. If you're using a different exit button, you may need to power up this system separately of the exit button, but for this one, there's no power required since it's mechanical. Now we're looking at the back side of the A02S. Quick little note, included with the A02S is actually a little quick guide that goes over what the terminals are and what they are meant for. Just to give you guys some insight, we're going to look at these terminals now. On this device, we have the terminals on the side, as well as even more information about what they are. The top three are going to be for your Wiegand input and output. The next two terminals below that are for your relay inputs for number 2, and the ground for that. Relay inputs number 1 and the ground for that. And then the bottom three are going to be for your door lock, relay normally closed, the COM terminal, and the normally open terminal. Now on the side of this device are two more terminals. These are going to be for powering the device, the A02S, if you don't want to do PoE powered. Now keep in mind, to connect this into the network, you do have to use Ethernet. So if you weren't able to get local power for the PoE, but you could still run it with Ethernet, you do have that option to locally power it here. And then at the bottom or back side of this unit, you do have an Ethernet port for your PoE power. What we're actually going to be starting with is wiring the A02S and the Maglock together. Okay, we'll be using the relay outputs at the bottom of the unit. The third port from the bottom is the relay normally closed, or the NC terminal, and then below that's the COM terminal. We're going to be using those two. We're not going to be using the normally open port or terminal because we're not using a door strike, we're using a Maglock. So for Maglock, we're going to have the NC terminal be the one that we're wiring into. So the next steps that we're going to be doing is actually wiring it. We're going to be taking the red wire and we're going to be putting that into the NC or normally closed terminal. So I'm going to go ahead and push down on the orange part, which opens up the terminal, and I'm going to go ahead and shove the red wire through. Now make sure when you're doing this that the wire is completely inside and that there is no exposed copper going around the outside. If not, you can have some shorts. Now that we have the red wire in, we're going to go ahead and put the black wire into the COM terminal. This is going to be the same thing. We're going to go ahead and push down on the orange. We're going to take the wire and we're going to go ahead and get it through that terminal. I just got that black wire in. We are good to go for the Maglock into the A02s. Now the next step is going to be wiring the A02s together with the Maglock. For wiring the Maglock and the A02s together, I got ahead and got a wire nut. You can just use electrical tape, up to you on what you want to do. But the first step is taking the black or negative wire from the Maglock and the negative or black wire from the A02s, and you're gonna go ahead and put them in a wire nut or electrical tape. So I'm just gonna make sure they're together, slide a wire nut over it, and I'm gonna twist. Yet again, make sure all the wires are inside of that and that there is no exposed wire. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and take the positive sides of the wires, and we're gonna go ahead and use this female pigtail. This one has terminals on it, negative and positive, so it's a little easier for you guys to follow along. We're gonna go ahead and take the positive side of the A02s wire, and we're gonna go ahead and insert that into the negative side of this terminal. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that into here. And then just get a screwdriver. I have my Jornard screwdriver right here, and I'm just gonna screw this in. Make sure it's a nice snug fit and that no exposed wire is out. We're looking good. And then we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. With the positive side, we're gonna put into the positive side of the terminal. So I'm gonna go and put that. Make sure that's all the way in. And then same process, just screw this down. Make sure these wires are nice and snug, and we're good to go. Now what I'm gonna be doing is going ahead and wiring from A02s into the exit button. So I have right here 22/4 gauge wire. I am not gonna use the red or the black cable here, or the wire. So I'm gonna go ahead and just push these to the side. I already pre-stripped these, so we are good to go. What I'm gonna be looking for is the relay in one terminal, and I will go ahead and put my green wire into that. So I'm gonna go ahead and push down on the orange terminal again, and get that cable through. Once it's all the way through, I can lift it, and it has a pretty good snug fit in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and take this yellow wire and put it into the ground terminal that is right below that one. So now I went ahead and got the yellow wire into the ground for the relay 1. So taking a look at this a little closer, we have our relay comm with the black wire, our relay normally closed with the red wire. We have our ground for our relay 1 with the yellow wire, and then the green is the relay in 1 terminal here. So we have all of our terminals done on the A02s side. So let's go ahead and jump over to the exit button to get this finished up for the wiring. Now we are looking at the back of the exit button. On this one, we're gonna go ahead and take the green wire and go ahead and put that into the COM terminal. So we're gonna push it through, make sure that no wires are exposed. And then we're gonna go ahead and use the screwdriver to screw this in. Make sure it's all tight, no exposed wire. And then we're gonna take the yellow one and go ahead and put this into the normally opened terminal. You're gonna go ahead and shove this all the way through, just like the other side on the yellow. And then same thing, you're just gonna go ahead and screw this in. Make sure no exposed wires are there, and we're looking good. So now at this point, we're done with the wiring, and we just have to start plugging everything in. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just plug this in with the PoE. I'm just gonna go ahead, flip it over so you guys can see that the lights will turn on as soon as I get it plugged in. And we are live on this device as well now. Now, once I go ahead and plug this cable in here, we should see the power of the Maglock turn on. And there we go. So now this Maglock is activated. All right, now we're on my laptop here, and what we're gonna be going over is how to get this set up on the web GUI first. So the first step that you're gonna wanna do is download the Akuvox IP tool on the laptop or computer you're gonna be using. You can get that off the Akuvox website. You can contact us directly, and we can provide that link to get this downloaded. Once you have this app downloaded and set up on your laptop, you're gonna go ahead and load it on up, and as long as you're on the same network as that device, you should get it to pull up. Now here at our office, we have a lot of different devices for Akuvox set up. So for me on my side, for some reason it's showing up as A01, this model right here, but generally it's gonna speak with the exact same model number. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and copy that IP address, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this to a Chrome browser here. Now, once you open up the Akuvox portal, you're going to go ahead and log in. Now, when you're first setting up a device, they'll always be defaulted to admin for the username and admin for the password. Once you do that, you can hit login. It's going to prompt you instantly to create a new password, which I do suggest creating a new password as soon as you open up this device. For me right now, I'm just going to go ahead and hit ignore, and we're going to be inside of the portal. I'm just going to click on status, but once you do that, you'll see you have a whole drop-down menu on the left, and we're going to want to go ahead and configure some of these things. So first, I'm going to go to hardware. I'm going to go to the relay, and I'm going to go ahead and be able to custom configure the relay inside of the system. So if I wanted a trigger delay on the relay from the door opening, so let's say I put in a pin code and I want a 2-second delay after inputting the pin code before the door opens, I can go ahead and select 2 here. Now I'm going to change this back to 0. You can have a hold delay, which is how long that lock will stay open. 5 seconds is more than enough, so I'm going to leave it at that. But if you wanted to change it, you click it and you're able to custom change it to whatever you want. You can go ahead and name your relay if you want to any custom name. Right below that, you do have your option for the 12-volt power output. Now I did talk a little bit earlier when we were doing the wiring setup that you can go ahead and use the power output on the A02s to power the Maglock. As long as your Maglock is a smaller Maglock and can be under 600 milliamps of power, then you can use this. If you are using that, make sure you go ahead and enable that output by clicking this box here. If you don't enable it, there will be no power that's sent through it. I'm not using it, so I'm going to uncheck it. But this is where you can custom your relay as well, and you can also set up a public pin. If you're wanting to just have one pin code for everybody to use, you can set that up here by having a public pin code. That's just how you configure the relay output. Now we're going to go ahead and jump over to the relay input. Make sure if you do change anything, you hit submit here at the bottom. So let's go jump over to the input. I'm just going to say okay, that's fine. Once you're in the input, you can go ahead and enable or disable certain inputs. So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and disable input B because I'm not using that. I'm only using input A on the A02s. But you can go ahead and change certain settings in here as well, such as a delay or execute relay. We're going to go in here and just make sure we have relay selected. This will make sure that the relay that's used to unlock the door will be that one relay on this device. And you can go ahead and hit submit at the bottom. The Akuvox portal here in the web portal, there's a lot of things you guys can go ahead and customize, such as a keypad, audio, weekend protocol. You even can customize the LED intensity of the A02s by changing it between certain lightings, brightness. So if I wanted it to be less bright, I can have it at 1 all the way up to 5. So there's a lot of customization that you can be doing inside of the Akuvox web GUI here. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually add a user onto the web GUI. So it's very simple. You can go ahead and import if you wanted to an Excel file into here to be able to upload users in mass. If you had like 200 users and you had them all in a spreadsheet, you can do it that way if that's easier for you. Or you can just go ahead and hit add and be able to individually add people. So I'm just going to go ahead and add myself here. My name is Seth, so I'm going to put that here. And I'm actually going to call this user Seth Local because later on I'm going to show you guys how to set up a user on the cloud portal that Akuvox offers. And in my opinion, it's a better way to go, but I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And I'm going to show you guys how to do this on the web GUI as well. So I'm going to call this Seth Local. I'm going to go ahead and input a pin code. For this one, I'm just going to put in 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then if I wanted to put an RF card, I can put that here. Okay, it's very easy to do so. We are actually going to be doing a video going over a door phone installation where I'll be actually showing you guys how to get this set up. So make sure you guys, check that video out if you're watching this later on, or subscribe to, check that video out when it comes out. And you can even customize the access settings in the system as well, if you have multiple different access points within the facility. So I'm just going to hit submit to save that. And now I'm saved in here under this. You can also go ahead and create a custom schedule for the locks to be open at a certain time or to be completely closed off, whatever you want to do. For me, we're not going to touch the schedule side. We're just going to go ahead and jump up to where it says status. And I'm going to go click where it says access log. So right now I haven't, scanned or inputted my pin code yet. I haven't hit the exit button, so it's going to show nothing on the log. So let me go ahead. We're going to take you guys back. I'm going to go ahead and input my code onto the A02s, and we're going to check back with this to see how this was inputted. Alrighty guys, we're back at the device. Now we're going to go ahead and input the pin code. A quick note before you guys input the pin code, make sure you guys remove the sticker on the front. Some people have issues with the sticker being on the front, the pin code's not entering right, so make sure you go ahead and take that off there. Now I'm going to go ahead and input the pin code, 1234.
Access granted.
Access was granted, and as you see, the door lock went ahead and opened, and it'll lock, and it's stuck on there, can't get it back off. Alright, now we're back on the web portal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just hit refresh on the device, and it sees that I have my device log in here. Okay, you can also search by dates, and you can also search by names and codes. So if you had, for example, 100 different people in here, you can go ahead and search by a certain person's name. For example, I only have one scan in here, but if I typed in Seth Local, it would only bring up my name, and it would not include anybody else. Okay. I'm going to show you guys one more thing just to show you guys that the input is working. So let's jump back over to me, and I'm going to show you guys that the exit button is also working. Now we have the exit button. I'm going to go ahead and just press the exit button. Door lock pops off again. It'll lock, and then back on the interface, it'll show this log. Now we're back on the web portal again, and I already hit refresh, and you guys can actually see that we do have another log here, and that is input A. So input A is the actual exit button. So for me, anything that reads input A will be the exit button of the device. So now, for example, if I go back to search, I can just look up Seth Local, hit search right here, and it's only going to look for when I entered the facility, and it's not going to show any of the other information if there's other users or people who exited the facility at a certain time. Now, that is pretty much what I want to show you guys on the web portal for now. We're going to go ahead and jump on over to our actual cloud portal from Akuvox, which is a very nice software to be using, to be offering to your own clientele, the property manager of the facility, or even a single tenant. It's going to be a way better system and a way better experience for your user to be able to log in there to manage their devices. Now, like I said, there's a lot of information right here in the Akuvox web portal, and covers a lot of different options that you could do, such as even services, like I said, or system settings. You have a lot of options. So if you need to do some extra stuff, the web portal and web GUI can basically do it all. So let's go ahead and hop on over to the Akuvox cloud portal account. To get this account set up for yourself, you're going to want to go ahead and reach out to your ENS sales rep, and they'll go ahead and get one set up for you if you haven't done so already. Now, once you're in this account, you're going to want to make sure that your role in the upper side of the screen is set to project manager, which it should be, and then you're good to go. Now, there's two types of facilities that you can be using, either a community facility, which is typically going to be like an apartment complex, or an office facility, which is going to be like an office complex, right? For us in this video, what we're going to be doing is going ahead and setting up an office. Now, to get an office set up, you're going to go ahead and hit new. Now, instead of hitting new, what you could do if you wanted to was go ahead and upload a select Excel file that you can go ahead and mass upload information such as users. So if you had, yet again, 200 users on an Excel file with the pin codes they were going to use and so on, and if it was easier for you to do so, you can go to download this template right here, part of the Excel file, and get that set up. For us, we're not going to use that. We're just going to go ahead and jump on it. Now, there is some customization that you could do here. I'm going to go ahead and turn landline services off, leave the feature plan to basic for now, and you can go ahead and name the office. So whatever the facility name is, you can name it that. What we're going to name it is test office. Now, you can go down here and go ahead and input the address of the facility, or type it directly in. Once you're done inputting the address, you can scroll down, and you can go ahead and customize even more settings such as time zone and time format, or even date format if you wanted to do so, and so on. Once you do that, you can go ahead and hit submit. To create a property manager account, you just go over to where it says new property manager. You input a first name, last name, and an email, And once you do that and you get them set up, they'll actually receive an email with their own login to be able to log in as a property manager. Now, a property manager account looks a little bit different than the project manager account, so we'll go ahead and jump into that later and show you the differences. And now you have your first office set up and you're good to go. The next step that you're going to want to do is go ahead and assign a property manager. How you do that is by going over to the right side where it says property manager, clicking it, clicking on the person that you've made a property manager. Now, I've already went ahead and created myself a property management account, which will be a separate email account, and I assign it here and I'm good to go. Once you have the property manager set up and you have the office all set up, you can go over to the orange eye on the side which says info and go ahead and click on that. Once you're under people and devices, you have a few options. So office is the overall office that you're working on. You can go ahead and add a device to a public area, or if you wanted to select departments. For example, let's say on the second floor of this building, there was the marketing department. And you can say that that's floor number 2. And I can go ahead and hit submit. Now, as you see here on the side, marketing department pops up. To get a device added, you're going to go to where it says public device and where it says new. Now, the first thing that you're going to have to get is the MAC address for the device that you're using. Okay, so to find the MAC address, you're going to be using the Akuvox IP scanner tool. So we looked at this earlier, we entered the IP address earlier. This time we're going to enter the MAC address. So here's the MAC address. I'm going to go ahead, I already have it copied, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste this in right here. And you can also name the location of where this device is for organization. For example, we can say front door. We also have our relay, which we're just going to leave this as relay 1. We can change the name for that if we want to. After that, just go ahead and hit submit. So when I first go ahead and boot this on, right now the device is not showing online. Give it a few minutes and it'll go ahead and pop up online. I've had to wait a couple seconds, couple minutes to get this green and for it to turn on. So once this gets fully on, we'll go ahead and jump over to the property manager account and get that checked out. Now I went ahead, waited a few minutes here, went and grabbed a coffee, came on back, and the status is back to green right here, which means the device is online. So now I'm going to go to jump on over to my property manager account to go ahead and continue this along and show you what this looks like as a property manager and how to add some users via the cloud portal. Alrighty, so now we're back into the cloud portal as the property manager. So as an installer, this is what your clients would be seeing if they're a property manager. Cool little things up top, you can see if there's any offline devices, which if there is any, obviously it's a little bit of a concern. Inactivated people, people expiring, or people that have already expired, if they have any temporary codes or if they're no longer active. You can see how many departments you have, which we only set up 1. Personnel and staff is 2 different end user accounts that we'll talk about when we're adding users, but right now we haven't set any up, so it's a 0. And it shows you how many devices are online, which we just have the one A02s that we set up. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and show you guys how to add people and users to this as a property manager. So I'm going to go ahead and click people on the side, and you're going to go ahead and input new. This is where you can pick a department. So if you have multiple departments in this building, you can go ahead and select that. We just have 1. And then you have your personnel versus staff. Okay, your personnel only has access permissions to the devices within their department parameter. So if I had, let's say, 4 devices and I had 4 departments, if I set this account to personnel, it can only access the devices on the marketing department. Now, if I set it to staff, it has access to all the devices on the premises. If, for example, you had cleaners or you had people that needed to get to different departments and different floors, you can set a staff. And if you had certain departments that only wanted access to a certain floor or area, then you can set it to personnel. For this one, I'm just going to go and set it to staff. And this is where you can go ahead and input even more information. So I'm going to go ahead and input my name here, Seth, and I'm just going to put cloud here. So we know if it was the cloud one that logged in or my local. ID, I'm just going to go ahead and put an ID of 0011. And then you can also put an email address, the country and region, and the mobile number of this person. And you can allow them to be able to create QR codes if you have a device that supports that, like a door phone. I'm gonna go ahead and hit next. Now, this is where you can input the access type. So as you see, the accessible floors, remember when we were making the marketing department, they said they had floor access to 2, or if you wanted to, you could add more floors. Then you have your pin code. So for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and put a pin code of 0987. If I had an RF card, I can go ahead and put that here. You can also, if you have a door phone or a device that supports face recognition, you can now go ahead and upload a picture right here for face recognition. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit submit. Alrighty, now that we have the staff account created, we are gonna go ahead and go to where it says dashboard. And right now we can see the statistics of people who have come in and out. Also now we do have one active staff member here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go back to the A02s device. I'm gonna go ahead and input the pin code that I just created, and we're gonna go ahead and see that that pops up as the log shows right here. Now that we're back here, I'm gonna go ahead and input the pin code again here, 0987. Access is granted. Door lock comes off, and we'll go right back on. It's stuck on there. Now, as you see right here on the right hand side, we have the access right here. Okay, Seth, front door, 4/19/2023 at 4:02 p.m. and it updated it live. I didn't have to refresh or anything like that. It just went ahead and put that there. Now, if I go and click here as well, because I have a staff account, it'll show you how many times it's scanned and by what was used. Since it's just a pin code, it has one scan of a pin code. So it is nice that you have your entry records right here on the main dashboard, but if you need bigger logs, you can actually go over to where the left side of the screen is where it says logs, and you can see the time it happened. You can see the department, the location of the device, who it was initiated by, what type of event happened. This was a door release because the door was unlocked. How it was done by pin code, the key, and then if it was successful or not. Now you can also go down to the bottom side of the screen where it says devices, and you can also get some information about the device to be able to send back to, anybody if you need it. This is what the property managers can see. They can actually see the MAC address, the status of the device, and if they need to make any quick edits right here by renaming it, the location, or the relay name, whatever it might be. Now this is pretty much all I want to show you guys on the actual uCloud interface through the Akuvox Cloud portal. It's a very easy to set up system, easy way to add users, manage accounts, see logs, and so on. It's a very user-friendly interface, and really is something that separates Akuvox equipment from a lot of other brands of equipment out there, is the fact that you have this nice interface that a property manager can manage the facility all from one link, be able to see the logs, and keep that facility just a little more secure. Now, last thing, guys, I'm going to go and show you guys the web GUI. As you see under the web GUI interface here, if I went to the access logs, I can actually also see when the cloud happened on the web GUI. So Seth Cloud, this was a time that I went ahead and rang in, and that's where it shows here. And remember, input A is for the exit button, and Seth Local, it was the device that we set up on the web GUI. Seth Cloud was where we set up on the cloud portal. So very cool little access log on the web GUI, or even on the uCloud account, depending on what you want to do. Now, guys, what I'm going to do is jump back to the actual device, show it off one more time, and we'll wrap this video up. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get this video wrapped up. And with the A02s, it's such a simple system. The wiring was simple, the interface is simple, the cloud portal, everything's so easy to set up, and it's a very easy to use system. Ultimately, a device like this can go in a lot of different places since it's an all-in-one solution, since it's an access controller, a keypad, it does RFID, NFC, and it's very, like I said, easy to use and get set up. So go ahead and like and subscribe to this video. We're going to be doing a video about a door phone and some other installation to show you guys some other options that you can be doing with the Akuvox. So to get this picked up, make sure you go ahead and give your ENS sales rep a call.